Hello, everybody. I'm John Locke, and I'd like to welcome you to the LockeInYourSuccess.com Trading Performance Podcast, where it's all about real traders, real problems, and real coaching. Listen up and enjoy the segment. We actually have multiple questions in the forum, so I want to go ahead and I'm going to address those. And let's start here at the top. So I've experienced some trouble getting filled closing out on a butterfly a few weeks ago. I looked at the NIB platform and modified price a few times in order to get it filled. Rather difficult it appeared, and it was just a one lot. Any suggestions in order to avoid such situations? Anything I should be aware of? Watching several of your videos, you trade way larger, so I suspect there must be some kind of thing that I did wrong in my example. I initially aimed for the midpoint and then modified gradually as I couldn't get filled. So before we really get going on this question, I just want to bring up this concept of couldn't get filled. Now, he didn't say he specifically couldn't get water, but I want to talk about that statement because it's very important. Realize that whatever you repeatedly tell yourself, you will believe. It's just simply the way the human mind works, and you're going to believe it whether it's true or not. In fact, in the success coaching business, we have a term for people who repeatedly think self-defeating thoughts, and that term is used helplessness or learned helplessness. This is where you mentally put yourself in a cage of detrimental beliefs that prevents you from doing things that are clearly possible if only you can get out of your own way and get over yourself. So for that reason, I would suggest that you never, ever allow yourself to think the thought, I can't get filled, because that thought is a lie. Now, it may be true that the order won't execute at a price you would like at the moment you'd like it to execute, but I can pretty much guarantee that in probably 99% of the cases that you're able to get that order filled. You might not like the price, but you can get it done. And as you think about this and say to yourself, oh, well, I intellectually understand or I intellectually know that I could get filled maybe at a much different price, or I could get filled if I'm patient. You might know that intellectually, but the challenge that you're going to run into is that under the stresses of trading, when some sort of an event happens and you really, really need to do something, you really need to get something executed, what happens under those pressures is your intellectual mind shuts down. And once your intellectual mind shuts down, you're left with the unconscious or reactive mind to make your decisions. And if you've trained your unconscious mind that you can't do anything, that you can't get it done, then guess what? You either freeze or you end up completely going off the rails and doing something completely irrational out of fear, something that you usually regret. Therefore, whenever the thought that I can't get executed pops up, realize it's a lie. And it's important to correct it with the truth. And the truth being that the trade didn't execute at the price you wanted to when you wanted it to happen. But the reality is that you could have executed this order or an alternative order that would have done something similar. In other words, you had options, you weren't trapped in a cage, and you could have done that had you been willing to do so. Okay, that way, when it comes up, you're not freezing. So, as when we do our performance coaching, we're often talking to traders, and they say, "Well, I freeze or I get fearful when this happens. Then I can't do anything. I can't get myself to do anything, or I do something foolish." This type of thing is why you do something foolish. It's the way you're training your unconscious mind. Realize, again, when you get under that stress, your conscious mind shuts down, your intellectual mind, your reasoning mind shuts down. And your unconscious mind does what it is trained to do, or what you told it can do. And it doesn't know what's true. It doesn't know what's real. It doesn't know, what's fake. That's the job of your intellectual mind to figure that out and to train it what is true and what you can do and what options you have when these things happen. And if you do that, you can do much better as a trader. So that's why I have this little pet peeve when people, and it's a common theme. I can't get executed. Well, that's bullshit. You can get executed if you want to get executed. Just tell yourself the truth, or state it properly, that I wasn't able to get executed at the price I wanted to get executed when I wanted to get executed. But you had other options, right? So you want to make sure that you're always aware of that yourself. And that is what I have for you today. If you have any questions or comments or anything else you'd like to see in the next Trading Performance podcast, please list that in the comments and I'll personally answer your questions and comments for you. Also, I'd love to encourage you to come on over to lockeinyoursuccess.com. That's LOCKE in yoursuccess.com and check out our Trading Performance and Pro memberships, where you can find the tools you need to become a much more effective trader, regardless of the type of trading you do. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you on the next Trading Performance podcast.